Am I the a-hole for not saving half-siblings I have no relationship with from foster care? My parents' marriage broke down 11 years ago. I, now 25 male, didn't see my dad once the marriage ended. He reached out a couple of times, but I told him I would never play happy families with him and the woman he cheated with, so he left me alone. There were times members of my extended family encouraged me to change my stance. Some even praised his affair partner and said I'd like her. I actually dropped the rope with many relatives who were pushing for this. There were others who didn't push or backed off when I said no, but they'd bring up dad occasionally. I knew he had other kids, never felt a need to meet them. Last year, my dad and his wife were involved in an accident. She died immediately, and he died a week later. Their kids were with our shared grandparents, but my grandpa has a criminal record, and the kids weren't allowed to stay with them. My aunts and uncles didn't step up. Everyone expected me and my wife to step up instead. Since we're married and both have stable jobs and we're young, it was seen as the perfect solution. They passed my name along to the caseworker and I was contacted once. I said no, which was accepted. There was backlash from relatives. I blocked many of them. It died down for a while, but last month they learned the kids were in and out of different homes and had been separated twice in the months they've been in foster care. They visit the kids, which is how they learned all this, but it made them angry with me, even though I have aunts and uncles who never even tried to take them to the best of my knowledge. So I don't feel bad. A lot of dad's family think I should feel bad. They say I should have saved the kids from foster care. I don't believe so, and my wife agrees. But after blocking in so many different places and seeing how worked up they are, I wanted to ask online, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like you didn't have a relationship with your father and never even met these kids. You have no obligation to take them in, which is a huge life-changing event. That's right. I never met them nor had any contact with them. I have no idea the ages of these kids even, or if they're boys, girls, or what. We're literal strangers. So the people who know these kids, and who had a good enough relationship with their parents to push for you to connect, are refusing to take the kids in? That sounds sketchy to me. They're circus, they're monkeys, not yours. Not the a-hole. Why aren't their mother's family taking care of them? I don't know the answer to this one. I don't care enough to ask. You have no obligation to take this on. Having said that, the system sucks. And unless they end up in a perfect scenario, their lives could be really messed up because none of their family members wanted the responsibility of raising them. I don't think you're an a-hole, but I do feel bad for the kids. Foster care is no joke. I agree that bad things could happen, which is why their actual family members should step up since they're so upset by everything. I was never these kids' family. We never met or had a relationship. I know nothing about them even, but they do know our aunts and uncles. You are doing for them exactly what your dad did when he left you and your mom. Nothing. Nobody has any business volunteering you for anything you didn't sign up for. Exactly this, not his burden nor his responsibility. His deadbeat dad and side chick should have made plans for their kids in case something happened to them, like a reasonably responsible person would do. Just one final failing of this father to add to the seemingly long list of parenting fails. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to take classes to help me take care of my autistic stepbrother? My mom's husband has 2 kids. My stepbrother Jake is 9 and my stepsister Ella is 7. My mom and her husband have been together for 5 years and married for 2. 3 years ago, my mom joined her husband and Ella in classes to learn how to care for people on the spectrum. It's supposed to cover a bunch of stuff and educate on having family members on the spectrum, so it wasn't just about caregiving. I, 17 male, was literally dragged along but didn't take them seriously and never passed the classes. For one, I didn't want to be set up as a babysitter for Jake and Ella. The other thing was, I resented all the changes we had to make for my mom's husband and kids to move in that accommodated Jake. My mom's husband said they wouldn't move in together if I didn't take the classes, which was also what I was hoping for. Clearly that didn't work. And now they lost their regular babysitter who could take care of Jake, so the pressure is on me to take the classes and pass this time. I'm refusing, and I offered to live with a family member if they weren't okay with my decision. Mom said no, and she's not pushing me away. I told her she needed to let this go then. Her husband said I'm being an a-hole to Jake and he deserves better. I told him I already accommodated a lot for Jake, and it should be my choice whether I step up to be a fit babysitter or not. My mom begged me to reconsider, and she told me the babysitting will be off the table. But to pass them to show I want to learn how to interact with Jake better. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Not your kids, not your problem. Exactly. OP shouldn't be pressured into parenting someone else's kids, especially when they've already done more than enough. They deserve to have boundaries without being guilt-tripped for it. It's on them to find a babysitter or caretaker, not drag an OP any more than he already has, and that stepdad is an a-hole, period. Wow, your stepdad is an a-hole. Hey, I won't move in with you unless your son promises to take care of my child for free. Not the a-hole, bud. Good luck. You're right, and mom isn't a hero either. We won't move in together until you pass the classes. Proceeds to move him in, as you said. That makes this, you only have to pass the classes to prove you want to interact with Jake. Be a blatant, humongous lie. It's pretty obvious that if OP did pass the classes, the next thing out of her mouth would have been, "You're qualified. You get no choice." Poor OP, honestly. Not the a-hole. The real issue here is that even if these classes provide valuable life skills, once you take the class and pass, mom and stepdad will want you to babysit, regardless of your mom saying it's off the table. Yeah, 'cause nothing says totally optional, like emotional blackmail and an empty promise wrapped in guilt sprinkles. Take the class, but don't you dare use it, or we'll guilt trip you for life anyway. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that, since she's the favorite, she'll be the one taking care of our mom when she's old? I'm 21 female and my sister is 18. I've always felt like our mom favors her, even if she doesn't say it directly. I study out of town and only come home a few days a week. When I'm gone, my sister uses my stuff without asking. It's happened so many times that I've stopped leaving anything valuable at home. Recently, an aunt sent me a pair of sneakers I really liked. My mom said she couldn't find them, and then my sister showed up wearing them. I asked her to take them off. She refused, we argued, and my mom's only response was something like, "So what? It's not like you're gonna eat them." That same night, my sister started provoking me. She said things like, "Nobody loves you," and called me a freeloader. I was doing the dishes, and when I finished, she came and dropped off her dirty plate, just to say, "You act like it doesn't hurt, but I know it does." I snapped. I told her that if she enjoys being the favorite so much, she better enjoy everything that comes with it, because when mom gets old, she'll be the one changing her diapers and dealing with everything, and I won't help at all. She went silent and locked herself in her room crying. Later, my mom asked me to tell her I was just joking because she's stressed about her national standardized tests. I said no, I meant what I said. My mom got angry, called me ungrateful, said she raised me for nothing, and now she's telling my aunts that I came home just to ruin her peace. So, am I overreacting? Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. My mom took care of her parents forever, but once she found out they were giving all the valuables to my uncle in their wills, my mom decided to take a step back. Since the favorite was basically getting everything, mom said he could start earning it. When grandpa's dementia got to the point of not allowing him to live alone, mom called my uncle and said come get him. That favoritism crap leaves scars. Nobody should grow up feeling less than one of their siblings. Your mom and sister are both a-holes. Not the a-hole for saying it, but stand your ground on it. Oh, and tell your aunt to mail stuff to your school address, not your parents' place. And if you're just coming home to ruin her peace, stop coming home. Go live life and enjoy it. See them when you absolutely must. I'll remember that, and when I leave and she wants to see me, that's what I'll answer. I don't want to ruin your peace. Next story. Am I the a-hole for ignoring my half-sister because she complains that my tattoo only represents my mom and not hers? I, 22 male, lost my mom when I was 5. My parents had a complicated relationship, and I believe my dad was with his present wife before my mom died. If not, he moved on very fast because my half-sister, 16 female, was born less than a year after my mom died. I was 6. My relationship with my half-sister's mom was never a close one. I resented her and my dad for making things move so fast, and I resented her attempts to parent me, mostly times when she challenged me on why I denied she was my mom too, or when she put a limit on how many photos of my mom I could have in my room at any one time. She accused me of keeping them to hurt her, which wasn't true, but she felt hurt seeing them and realizing I kept them close. Dad and I drifted apart entirely. He knew how I felt and didn't want to face it, and I was still so mad at him for turning my world upside down after Mom's death had already done it. My half-sister and I had a decent relationship despite all that. We were never super close, but we were okay. When I was 16, my half-sister's mom was diagnosed with a pretty awful neurological disease, a terminal one. She's declined a lot over the years. I've tried to be supportive of my half-sister, but I know she has some resentment toward me because I have not helped care for her mom. And once I moved out, I cut ties with my dad and her mom, but kept in touch with her. Last year, I got a tattoo. I'd always wanted one that honored Mom, so I got an owl bear because I remember my mom being wise and loving. Her name's also included, along with a small heart. My half-sister has seen it on social media a little, on my page and the tattoo artist's page. When she first saw the fully healed tattoo, she asked me about it and asked why I just had my mom and not both mine and hers. She told me her mom raised me longer than my mom did and that her mom was dying. I explained that my relationship with her mom wasn't a good one and she was never my mom. My half-sister didn't like my answer and pushed against it repeatedly and brought it up repeatedly. It reached the stage last month where I was tired of the fight and so close to telling her I really don't care about her mom's feelings or what's going on with her. I knew, given everything, that would be too far, so I started to ignore her. She refused to drop it and ignored my boundaries and attempts to change the subject. When she realized I was ignoring her, she started calling me names and asking how I can be such a loveless jerk. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Having said that, she's a kid and going through a difficult time. Everything you're doing is right, and while she is wrong, it's understandable. I know, and that's why I stepped back before I said something that would be more hurtful. She doesn't need to hear me say how I feel about her mom. Not the a-hole. Sorry about your loss. And sorry your dad is such an a-hole. You deserve better. Stay away from them and find your peace. Thank you. I miss her a lot still, but I know she'd want me to be happy and I am. My life is pretty good right now, despite everything. This may be harsh, but perhaps it will help her understand your point of view. Ask her, right now while her mom is actively dying, how she would feel if dad brought another woman into the home so soon after she passes and a new kid was born. Would new woman be her mother? She should get the point. I understand dumping that on a teen going through her parents' death is really cold, but that's the point. That's what they have all done to you for over a decade. And sometimes they're selfish and entitled people that cannot understand someone else unless and until it finally happens to them. Last story. Am I the a-hole for moving into a studio apartment away from my mother-in-law who moved in? Long story short, my boyfriend's mom is poor and had to move into my boyfriend's and my apartment last month because my boyfriend's brother, who lived with her, got them both evicted. He stole her car, wrecked it into their apartment, and almost killed someone. He's currently in rehab. Before she moved in, I sat down with my boyfriend and laid out the requirements for her living here. She must cut off contact with his brother for his own good and never invite him over, as I'm afraid of him retaliating at our apartment and getting us evicted too. She should also stop enabling him with a constant safety net to continue his drug use. I know that sounds harsh, but it was the only way to actually force him to get help. This has been an almost decade-long battle of her enabling him, and he's not getting any better. My boyfriend agreed to this, and she agreed. Cut to 2 weeks in, I come home from work. My boyfriend and she are laughing about how they took his brother to Golden Corral when I was gone, and he was so high he was nodding off in the food. I was so upset that not only did she break the cardinal rule I set for her, but that my boyfriend went along with it too. I told him I felt betrayed and that he just set a precedent for her that she can do whatever she wants now because any rule set isn't actually going to be enforced, clearly, by his example. He told me he did it because he thought it was too harsh after the fact, without telling me he had changed his mind and thereby went against our agreement. I otherwise wouldn't have let her live here rent-free. My boyfriend said putting her on the street was too harsh of a punishment for breaking the rules. But isn't that the point? Now she's telling us we need to do her chores when we pay the rent because she doesn't want to do them, knowing he won't enforce anything or kick her out because he ultimately can't face the guilt of doing so. He has attachment issues with her and a heavy guilt complex. Our apartment leases up in a couple of months, and now that we're moving, she asked us, "So where are we moving to?" Fully expecting a free ride and free rent at our next place. I was so dumbfounded because she was only supposed to be here until she got housing, but low-income housing waiting lists can be months to years long. I don't want to live with her anymore because she walks all over us and causes tension between my boyfriend and me. He will never put her on the street because he's controlled by his guilt. When I ask what he plans to do, he said he isn't taking her to our next place, but that would ultimately leave her on the street. And I know deep down, even if we initially move without her, she'll be back in a week or two because he'll feel guilty. So I want to move into a studio apartment now, knowing that I don't believe he's going to let her go, and I've voiced this as a real possibility to him, but I'm being framed as trying to dismantle our relationship. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Don't sign a lease with him again. His word about how he'll handle his mother is worth less than nothing. She'll be back. This. OP, you are dating him, half the relationship, you are on half the lease, and paying half the rent. You are not being treated like your opinions, resources, and money count. You are half the relationship, but not half the importance. He didn't ask what do you feel about the plans. He made a decision with his mom and told you what was happening. He's disregarded what you say, want, and how you feel. He's assuming that what he says goes, you will follow orders and your resources, and money are his to dispose of as he wishes. Do you want to continue like that? Not the a-hole. You're not only showing some self-respect, you're saving yourself from the mess that is coming. My question to OP is, why is he still your boyfriend? He should be your ex by now. She's upset the mother is enabling the brother, and that boyfriend is enabling the mother. Meanwhile, she's enabling the boyfriend, and by the transitive property, also enabling all of them as well.